The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for Edo State don hold one important stakeholders meeting to chook mouth on top the upcoming governorship election. The meeting wey shele for Sir Victor Waifo Creative Hub for Benin City focus on the key parts of the election wey be preparation, security and how stakeholders go fit help make sure say the process dey free, fair and credible. Edo State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Anugbu Onuha come tok say the commission dey try hard to involve stakeholders and make sure say the election process dey smooth. E come throw salute to the security agencies for the support dem dey give and come also chook mouth on how the Electoral Commission don dey prepare for the upcoming election.
It is important to update you on the activities of the commission here in Edo. The commission, under the able leadership of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, published timetable and schedule of activity for the Edo State 2024 governorship election on the 26th September 2023. And out of the 19 schedule of activity, we have completed 11. We have engaged and sought the buy-in, confidence and trust of the stakeholder through regular and periodic consultation and partnership. The Commission has treated all political parties and their candidates fairly and equally in a transparent manner and non-partisan manner in the conduct and implementation of all the activities in the electoral process. We shall stand firm to defend the independence and autonomy of the Commission in discharging our duties and responsibility as defined in the extant laws and guidelines. The Commission had a continuous voters registration exercise at the 192 registration center in 18 local government of the state on the 27th day of May to 9th June 2024. We equally displayed them for claims and objection for 7 days for the 12th to 19th of June 2024. The issuance of EBC at the registration center for 5 days and thereafter we now went to local government area. We have trained our staff for purposes of capacity building on election administration and management. We have also done 3 layers training for electoral security personnel. We have also had an engagement and training with people with disabilities. We have received non-sensitive materials from our headquarters and we have also backed them according to their unit. According to the polling unit in the 4,519 units of the 192 wards in the state, in the 18 local government of the state. We have received funds from our headquarters and we have also disbursed them to the various local government electoral officers for the vehicular importation of movement men and men. Funds have been given for both in riverine areas, affected riverine areas. We have disbursed funds for craft preparation and activation. Training logistic funds have also been disbursed. Presentation of voters registered for political party. This is to enhance the stakeholder confidence in the voters register. Also to increase the accuracy of voters register and to increase public awareness of the voters registration process. We have a robust voters education and awareness through incessant chambers and announcements and roadworks, radio, television, and regular press briefings. We have tested all our givers after the flood to confirm all ports and hardware features that they are okay. Out of that, we have 3,817 beavers that were recovered from the flood. We have also received beavers from the neighboring states. We We have also charged the viewers to ensure that the battery's life lasts through the election. Charging of the power bank have been done. On the monitoring of the political parties, we have only 2 political parties have submitted their itinerary to us, APC and both parties. We have been monitoring their campaigns. This address will not be complete without thanking our honorable chairman and members of the commission, especially my national commissioner supervising Edo State, for the encouragement and support they have been giving to us. We also have the security agencies in the state have been very, very helpful. And the NYSC, they are our major partner in this exercise.
INEC National Commissioner South Professor Rhoda Gomus confirm say the Edo State governorship election go shele for September 21, 2024 and say INEC dey committed to keeping to this date. She still talk say
for this governorship election, there are 13 key activities for implementation, which the Commission has successfully implemented 11 activities. The publication of notice of rules of the Electoral Act, Section 44, which is the 11th activity, was implemented on Saturday, 7th September 2024. The outstanding activities are: number 1, the last day for campaigns by political parties. That will be on the 19th September 2024. And the date of a governorship election will be 21st September 2024. The Commission is committed to keeping strictly to the dates as detailed in the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2024 governorship election in Edo State. Obviously, to the fact that many peoples have turned 18 years since the last time of voter registration in January 2023, which was used for the conduct of 2023 general election, the Commission successfully conducted continuous voters registration in line with Section 9(6) of the 2022 Electoral Act. In doing that, the Commission updated and revised the register of voters that is not later than 90 days before any election covered by the Act. This exercise recorded a total of 2,629,025 voters registered in Edo State after cleaning up the data using the automated biometric identification system. You may also recall or be aware that the Commission lifted the suspension of permanent voter cards on 29th May 2024. 27th May 2024. All uncollected PVCs were made available for collection during the CVR exercise. In addition, the Commission also scheduled a new PVC collection from 22 to 26 August 2024 at array level and continued at LGAs from 28th of August to 8th September 2024. The Commission will make public the total PVC collected and uncollected at the appropriate time. As part of preparation, the Commission also conducted a mock accreditation exercise yesterday, which is 10th September 2024, testing the biometric voter person system with rivers and the result portal opening at 3 senatorial districts in 6 local government areas comprising 12 polling units. The Commission will deploy movers in all the 4,519 polling units in the Edo State for the election. Trained technical support staff will be deployed to all registration areas, local government areas, and polling units to provide technical support for the units. Please also note that voters must present their PVCs to the election officials before they will be allowed to vote on election day. The Commission's mandate is to conduct free, fair, credible, and inclusive election. We are sure that the Commission is committed to maintaining a high level of professionalism, accuracy, impartiality, and diligence in the discharge of our duties to uphold the integrity of the process. The Commission once again appeal to political parties, candidates, and supporters to maintain decorum and civility in the conduct of election day come 21st September 2024.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu talk say collabo among all the stakeholders dey very important to make the election successful, as he assured the people say INEC will remain neutral and transparent throughout the election process.
As most of you are aware, it has been the tradition that a stakeholders meeting of this nature is convened on the eve of major off-cycle governorship elections, jointly addressed by the INEC chairman and the Inspector General of Police. For me in particular, this is the third time I'm addressing stakeholders on the eve of governorship election in Edo State. I was here in 2016, I was here in 2020, and by God's grace, I'm here today. The purpose of this interactive meeting is to brief political parties and candidates, as well as accredited election observers, the media, and other stakeholders on the preparations for the election. In particular, the Inspector General of Police will address us on security preparations, while I will address you on electoral preparations. And together, we will respond to issues and concerns you may wish to raise. On the part of INEC, active preparations for the election started last year with the release of the timetable and schedule of activities for the election as required by law. Overall, 13 statutory activities were listed, beginning with the publication of the notice of election and ending with the election day. This document has been widely publicized, but as a reminder to stakeholders at this meeting, the list is included in the information booklet circulated here. As you can see from the timetable, and as mentioned by both the resident electoral commissioner and the supervising national commissioner, the commission has so far implemented 11 out of 13 activities on schedule. As of today, only 2 activities are outstanding. The last day of campaign by political parties, which according to law ends at midnight, 24 hours before the date fixed for the election, which will be at midnight on Thursday, the 19th of September. The other outstanding activity is the election day, which, as we all know, is on Saturday, the 21st of September 2024. We have already published the final list of candidates. However, there are 2 adjustments to the list. By court order, the Commission has replaced the running mate to the candidate of the Labour Party. Similarly, the National Rescue Movement, NRM, which could not file its nomination on schedule, has obtained a court order to compel the Commission to include the party on the ballot. We have complied with the court order. Consequently, 18 political parties are now participating in the 2024 Edo State governorship election, not 17 political parties as earlier published. Following the conclusion of the continuous voter registration in Edo State and the cleaning up of the data, 184,438 permanent voters' cards were delivered to Edo State. This figure is made up of 119,206 new voters and 65,232 verified applications for transfer into Edo State from other states of the Federation or transfer within Edo State from one part of Edo State to another. Cards have been reprinted after corrections of personal details, a replacement of damaged or lost PVCs as provided by law. We have already published the details on our website for public information. On this note, I must commend all stakeholders in Edo State for the level of mobilization, both for the registration of voters and the collection of PVCs. As already announced by the Commission, Edo State now has 2.6 million registered voters. And as the National Commissioner supervising Edo said, and at the REC I think also mentioned, this figure may appear low in the context of Nigerian elections, 2.6 million. But Edo State has 200,000 more registered voters than the Republic of Liberia. So the election we are going to hold on Saturday is like a general election in the Republic of Liberia. With 2.6 million registered voters, Edo State has more voters than the Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, and Kefad put together. So it's like conducting elections in 3 different countries. In Nigeria, Edo is only one of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. So in our commitment to transparency, the Commission has made available soft copies of the entire register of voters to each political party fielding candidates in the forthcoming election. In the next few days, the Commission will publish the detailed breakdown of PVCs collected for each of the 4,519 polling units across the state. Meanwhile, all uncollected PVCs will be mopped up from the 18 local government areas and warehoused in the Central Bank of Nigeria until after the governorship election. As you are aware, election is a multi-stakeholders activity. INEC has a role to play, but this must be complemented by stakeholders. The 2024 Edo State governorship election is not just a national election. It is also of global interest. The Commission has so far accredited 134 observer groups, 124 domestic and 10 international, and together they are deploying 1,836 observers across the state. Similarly, we have accredited 114 media organizations, deploying 721 journalists. We have also accredited thousands of agents representing candidates and political parties at the 4,730 polling and collection locations, made up of the 4,519 polling units, 192 ward collection centers, the 18 local government collection centers, and the state collection center in our state office here in Benin. I want to assure you that the accreditation tags for all categories of stakeholders are virtually ready. We will announce the date and venue for the collection in the next 24 hours. Similarly, election duty vehicle stickers are available for collection from our Edo State office here in Benin City. In our engagements with stakeholders at the national level, stakeholders underscored the importance of providing security during the election to guarantee their personal safety, the protection of their equipment in the case of the media deploying expensive equipment, including the outside broadcasting ban for live coverage. And they also demanded unimpeded access to voting and collation locations. The Commission conveyed these concerns to the security agencies at the last meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security at the national level. We have also discussed the security of our own officials, both regular and ad hoc, for the election, the service providers, such as transporters, and above all, the citizens that will vote during the election. I'm glad that the relevant agencies have given us the necessary assurance of security during the election. We'll hear more, I believe, from the Inspector General of Police shortly. Let me reassure stakeholders that INEC is ready for the election. We are deploying the beavers machines for voter accreditation at polling units and for upload of results to the INEC result viewing portal, the IREV. Only yesterday, as mentioned by the Supervising National Commissioner, we conducted mock accreditation in 12 polling units across 6 local government areas in the 3 senatorial districts of the state. The purpose was to test run our deployment of technology to safeguard the credibility of the election. I'm glad to report that the mock was successful and the result can be viewed on the INEC portal. But let me quickly add that the machines used for the mock accreditation and the training of officials will not be used on election day. Let me repeat, the machines used for the mock accreditation and the machines we've used for the training of some category of ad hoc staff and the next category of ad hoc staff we are going to train will not be used on election day. We have sufficient machines for the election which have been configured for voter accreditation and the upload of results distinct from those used for the mock accreditation and training. For the 2024 Edo State Governorship election holding next week, INEC has been open and transparent about our processes. We engaged several times with stakeholders at the national level and here in Edo State. We have made every information about the election available to Nigerians. We have published the list of candidates, the number of registered voters, and the number of PVCs collected. We have made available the locations of voting and collection centers across the state. We have accredited observers and media organizations for the election. We have accredited polling and collection agents and made the details public. We visited some of the local government areas to assess our own readiness for the election. We have test run, as I said earlier, our election technology in preparation for the election. We are deploying the requisite number of technical staff to address challenges in the field that may occur. We have made arrangements for land and maritime transportation of personnel and materials. We have arranged for the delivery of sensitive materials for the election, and these materials will arrive at Edo State early next week. We will invite political parties and stakeholders for the usual inspection of the materials at the Central Bank of Nigeria here in Benin, ahead of the delivery of the same materials to the local government areas. We are leaving no stone unturned in our preparations for the election, always in consultation with the stakeholders. I therefore urge you to play your own part positively in delivering yet another credible governorship election in Edo State.
Inspector General of Police Edo Egbetokun tok say the meeting dey address important security issues concerning the gubernatorial election wey dey come up and come assure the public say the security agencies dey ready to ensure safety and security of lives and properties during the election.
To me, the Edo State governorship election that is coming is not merely a procedural event. It is an opportunity for us to reaffirm our commitment to democratic principles, the rule of law, and the integrity of the electoral process. Free and fair elections are bedrock of democracy. While it is the responsibility of all stakeholders to ensure that elections take place in a conducive environment, the task of securing the electoral process rests squarely with the police. The Electoral Act has mandated the Nigerian Police Force to take the lead in policing the election, and we are dedicated to executing this responsibility with excellence. As in the past elections, the police will be supported by other national security agencies who will join us in ensuring the safety and security of the electoral process, demonstrating our collective commitment to a peaceful and credible election. We understand the vital importance of our roles in this election, and I want to assure you that we are well prepared to perform our duties with excellence. We will safeguard the electoral process by ensuring the safety of all persons and properties, including equipment that will be involved in this election. We will ensure strict compliance and enforcement of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act, the Police Act 2020, the Criminal Penal Code, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, and other requisite laws. Crowd and traffic management at all electoral-related activities, political parties, convention, congresses, campaigns, rallies, procession, etc. We will provide a conducive environment for the peaceful conduct of credible elections. Our approach to election security is grounded in the principles of neutrality, professionalism, and respect for human rights. We are committed to deploying sufficient personnel and resources to ensure effective crowd management, prevent electoral violence, and address any emerging security issues. In this election, the police will be deploying 35,000 personnel, and this will be complemented by over 8,000 members of the armed forces and other security agencies. In preparation for the election, the Nigerian Police Force, in collaboration with these other security agencies, has undertaken several measures, including conducting a thorough threat analysis of vulnerable points in Edo State to deploy resources effectively, engaging in interagency consultation and collaboration at both national and state levels, performing operational visits by the Police Election Planning Monitoring and Evaluation Team to Edo State for on-the-ground assessment and preparation. In the lead-up to this election, the Nigerian Police Force, with other security agencies, will engage continuously with political parties and relevant stakeholders and conduct public enlightenment campaigns for eligible voters and interest groups across the state. Provide robust security for INEC officials, ensure the safe escort of electoral materials from storage facilities to registration areas, centers, and polling units. Secure the state's entry and exit points with military support, and ensure strict enforcement of the restriction order on movement on the election day. The Nigerian Police, in addition, will deploy adequate operational assets as necessary for this election. I once again assure you of our unwavering neutrality and the neutrality of all participating security agencies. Our commitment is to a free and fair election, ensuring a level playing field for all candidates. Our personnel have been trained to carry out their duties with professionalism and impartiality. Our loyalty lies with the Constitution and the people of Nigeria. To the political parties and the candidates, I urge you to adhere strictly to the rules and respect the electoral process. Let us collectively foster an environment that upholds democratic values and honors the will of our people. I assure the residents of Edo State that we are fully prepared to safeguard your safety and security throughout this electoral process. Your right to vote is sacred, and we will protect it. I encourage you to come out in large numbers to exercise your right, confident that our extensive deployment is intended to ensure your safety and integrity of the election. I take this opportunity to warn all potential troublemakers contemplating destructive actions to abandon such intentions. The security forces will not tolerate any form of political thuggery, violence, or hooliganism. Any attempt to undermine the electoral process will be met with swift and decisive action. Movement of persons and vehicles will be restricted from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the day of election. All odd days and escorts to VIPs will be withdrawn on the eve of the election, with alternative security arrangements provided across the state. I would like to highlight some of the actions that will constitute offense on the election day. The Electoral Act 2022, as amended in Section 124, makes it an offense for any person who knowingly vote or attempt to vote in the constituency where his or her name is not in the register of voters. Any person who knowingly bring into a polling unit during an election a voter's card issued to another person commits an offense. Section 125 also makes it an offense for any person to act or incite others to act in a disorderly manner. Section 126 prohibits any person at a polling unit or within a distance of 300 meters to canvass for votes, solicit for votes, persuade any voter not to vote for any particular candidate, shout slogans concerning the election, persuade any voter not to vote, be in possession of offensive weapons. And I want to repeat this. It is an offense under the electoral law for any person to be in possession of any offensive weapon on the day of election. This should be noted by all and sundry. I urge political leaders to please warn their supporters, because any person seen with offensive weapon on that day of election will be treated as criminals and not as voters. No person shall intimidate any voter or wear symbols of any party on the day of election, snatch or destroy any electoral materials, use any vehicle bearing color or symbol of any political party, loiter without lawful excuse after voting or after being refused to vote, play siren. Section 126(2) also makes it an offense for any person to convene or attend meeting during the hours of polls, or make official announcement, or wear any badge. I want stakeholders to take note of these acts that that constitute these electoral offences and use it to warn their supporters to adhere strictly to the rules of this election. I thank you for your attention and cooperation. Together, let us ensure that the Edo State Governorship Election 2024 becomes a shining example of excellence in our electoral processes.
Ogbonge stakeholders wey tanda for the meeting are representative of 18 political parties, security agencies, civil society organizations, traditional and religious leaders, among who can get chance for open discussion where dem fit ask questions and get clarity on top the electoral process. As dem dey ask their questions, the PDP state chairman come chook mouth on the alleged threats wey dem dey get from the APC and come ask why the Inspector General of Police never act on the matter.
And I heard just now when the Inspector General of Police said that ESM was suspended. And I want to draw his attention to the fact that remain suspended. This group was suspended when they attacked our candidate at the airport and the policeman was killed. This group was suspended when they attacked us in Akoko Edo. I am sure that is what the other parties, because they have an affiliation to you who carried out the operation. Did it. Then they were suspended when they attacked us in the South Central. And somebody was shot, one of us was shot. And they were suspended when they attacked us in the Southwest. It's been a series of attacks. And we said it from the beginning when we had the first meeting with the INEC chairman. And the Commissioner of Police was there. And we drew their attention to the fact that they are using that security network to make people and even shoot at people. So we want to draw the General of Police attention to the fact that if they are suspended, they should ensure that they are suspended. If not, it will be difficult for us to watch them and see them shooting at us. So I want his attention drawn to it so that if they are suspended, certain steps should be taken to ensure that they are actually suspended.
I just want to lend my voice to the security services that we should create the necessary environment as we promised, the IGP, for people to exercise their civil rights without fear or favor, and that those who are spoiling for a fight should sheath their swords, knowing that there is a good show of force to that effect. The second one is directed at the political parties and my fellow contestants. Edo State is ours, it's our proud state. We must conduct ourselves in a responsible way. Our rhetoric should be toned down because it has an impact on our followers. We need to sheath our swords and ensure that the polity is calm and our state is safe for free and fair elections. The last one is to INEC. Dear National Chairman, we have seen the last elections. People have rightly or wrongly said various things. I have my views, but herein lies a very unique opportunity for us to make a statement. I know technology can be very challenging. We need to ensure this time that everything works freely and fairly. And I want to put a challenge to the Independent National Electoral Commission that this election, the Edo State election in 2024, should be the only election that is not challenged in the courts of law. We are tired of judgments or people being elected at the courts. I pray this is conducted and the technology works freely and fairly and is conducted effectively to give us the best candidate that will serve our people.
For the police, as a party, we have not seen a partisan Nigerian police as under this idea. We are so disappointed. And I'll tell you why. Before the 17th of July, Edo State were very peaceful. All the parties have conducted their primaries, everything was peaceful. People were going all over the place. Nothing happened. Until that unfortunate incident at the airport, and all hell has been let loose. The Nigerian police has been so biased under this IGP that I have a long
my party members that have been arrested in a distasteful style. They break into their homes, take them out of their homes. They don't tell the wives and the lawyers where they are. People are taken to Abuja 4 a.m. in the night. Who does that? Well, in democracy. There are people that are in the custody of the police for upwards of 2 weeks. Would you believe that? Then 2024, Nigeria, you arrest somebody in the night, you take it to Abuja in the night, 2 weeks, the people are with you, you have not charged them to court. I don't just get it. I will wish to remind Nigerian police that this is a tool. This is a tool. And the blood of those that are due to the beginning of the 16th century still flows in our veins. What we are saying as a political party is that the police is within the police rights and jurisdiction and power to invite, to arrest anybody. However, we are saying, after doing that, follow what the law says also, which is do the investigation and charge the case to court. You cannot, under this dispensation, under the democratic dispensation, Mr. IGP, hold on to people that do not have access to their lawyers, do not have access to their families, their children, their wives, are private thing. And we're here telling us earlier in the day that we promise that you will be neutral, that is what everybody expects you to do. Finally, this one is so pitiable, Mr. INEC Chairman. A case was reported to the military, and the house was posted in Ovia Southwest local government. 1,000 PVCs were uncovered the scene in that person's house. The people that went to report the case and those that were busted, the police invited everybody and took everybody in. When the attention was drawn to that fact, they said, okay, we will look at it and see whether we can use all of them at the same time. Who does that? You are arresting complainant and the people that PVCs were seen in the houses. And you think we, as a political party, will say you're not biased. You are very biased. For us, as a political party, I wish to state that we are very ready for this election. We don't need help from anybody. What we will not allow is for anybody to think that Edo is any other state. It is not, and it will never be.
Mr. Aisha, I would like to ask you, sir, can you and your men brief us on the status quo of the arrest as per electoral violence perpetrators? Why I would like you to react to this question is this. As civil society actors, we are more closer to the people than every other stakeholder you can think of in Nigeria. And there have been a lot of questions from them that we want to convey to you today. So please, can you brief us on the number of arrests, the stage at which these cases have gotten to? It will promote transparency in whatever you are doing and boost trust, public trust in your job and that of the Nigerian police.
We are going to think, sir, instead of wasting so much energy, manpower, and resources of our security agencies, why can't we just commence the use and practice of full electronic voting system in Nigeria? That will be the end of the corruption in the electoral system in Nigeria. So I repeat, sir, when this is very specific to the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. I want to mention your name so that you won't think I'm mistaking you for this question for the Edo State rep. When are we going to commence the full use and practice of electronic voting system in Nigeria? That is what Nigerians want to rely and trust on.
The Inspector General of Police, Edo Egbetokun, and INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, can't give answers to the questions where they ask and can reaffirm their commitment to make the election fair and transparent.
Now, Chairman APC, INEC is a democratic organization. So, no, I'm not going to be arguing with you. All I said is that we have taken note of what the people have said, and if it's the decision of this meeting and the decision of the Commission, will make a few days available for the collection of these PVCs. And it will be made transparently open for all to see what we have done. Remember, I said in my opening statement that Edo is the only state where there has been no agitation for extension of time for the collection of PVCs. I probably came to the conclusion too early. Now the request for extension has come. Part of the reason why we hold this kind of consultative meeting is for us to build a consensus in the interest of our democracy. So if it means extending for a few days, we will do so. At the end of which, we are going to publish the list of PVCs collected in Edo State by polling units. So for each polling unit, we see the number of PVCs collected and the number of PVCs uncollected. So I've taken note of that decision. The chairman of the PDP, you raised 4 concerns. Recruitment and training of SPOs. You said you have credible information that 30 names have been infused into the list, but you pleaded with the commission to investigate. We will investigate. We know the number that we require for the purpose of the election in Edo State. And the number is not really high, it's 452. So we'll look into the allegation that we have made, and if it's meritorious, we'll address it. Number 2, you said the list should be scrutinized. It's related to the first question. But let me also say that we are going to scrutinize the list not just for the SPOs, but for all categories of ad hoc staff, all categories across the board. You talk about countersigning of result sheets, particularly the RA and local government collation result sheets. It has been part of our standard operating procedure, SOPs, for the purpose of the conduct of election. We'll look into that. As to who is going to sign is our trade secret, I will not tell you. But you are all going to be invited to the Central Bank of Nigeria when the materials arrive, so that together we'll inspect and see what we have brought from Abuja before we move the materials to locations for the election. Then finally, you talk about 1,000 PVCs in a particular local government. Again, this is an allegation you have made. We'll look into the allegations. It's an offense for anyone to be in possession of another person's PVC. But in any case, before our own eyes, we have taken measures. We have provided safeguards that no one is going to vote on the basis of identity theft. Even if you carry somebody's PVC, you will not carry the person's fingerprint on election day at the polling unit. And if you carry even if you attempt to do so, you will not carry the person's facial. Now we do a double-decker checking for accreditation of voters, using the fingerprint as well as the facial. So what are you talking about if you take another person's PVC? It simply wouldn't work, it wouldn't be accredited on election day. But I've taken note of what you have said in that regard. We have consistently said that cameras are not allowed into the voting cubicle. So that's the only restriction actually. But people are free to carry their cameras around, but not into the cubicle, not to film election materials. Then you said, when are we going to commence what you call full electronic voting? Election is a process governed by law. The commission will do so once the law allows the commission to do electronic voting. Now it doesn't. So you know where to raise, to lodge your complaint for the enabling legislation that will permit the commission to do full electronic voting. Edo has the record of the first state where INEC transmitted or uploaded results from the polling units in a major election in September 2020. We conducted the election in the middle of COVID, and anything that follows is taking a cue from what we have done in Edo State. I want to assure you that this is what we are committed to. After all, that's why we came all the way from Abuja to look at our systems, as well as conduct the mock accreditation exercise to test the integrity of the processes, learning from the experience of what happened in previous elections. So if you want assurance from me, the simple assurance that we are committed to doing whatever we can to uphold the integrity of this process. Two people asked questions about PVCs. That there are some PVCs, is it true that there are PVCs uncollected? Let me come out clean. There are PVCs uncollected. Even arising from the last exercise, there were PVCs that we had to print later in response to complaints by citizens. The total number of these PVCs is 1,835, and these PVCs have been delivered to Edo State. Now, earlier we delivered 184,438 PVCs. The 1,835 not delivered comes to 0.9%. So in other words, it's less than 1%. But democratic election is not about percentages and low figures. Democratic elections is about citizens and the right to vote during the election. So this is the situation. We have suspended the collection of PVCs on Sunday. But part of why we would like to engage with stakeholders is for us to take a decision. Do you think the Commission should extend the period of collection of these PVCs for a few days, or we suspend it as we have already suspended it? The decision is up to the stakeholders. Whatever decision we arrive at this meeting will be implemented by the Commission, meaning that it's going to be open to all those who have not collected their PVCs to do so, not just the 1,865. I repeat what I've said. Democratic elections may not necessarily be about numbers and percentages. It's about citizens' right to vote. And our commitment is that we shouldn't in any way disenfranchise voters. So let me see by show of hands. Collection of PVCs ended on Sunday, the 8th of this month. No PVC is being collected anywhere in the state. We have new 1,865 from the 184,000. Is it your decision as stakeholders that INEC should provide a few days grace for the uncollected PVCs to be collected, or that we should shut the system down and no more? Let me see by show of hand rather than.
Any member of a political party has been arrested. I am aware that individuals who committed crimes have been arrested. If these individuals happen to be members of a political party, please don't take it as an attack on your political parties. Okay, the person who made this observation wanted our commitment to the promise made that we will ensure that the people of Edo State exercise their voting rights during this election. I want to reaffirm again that our commitment is to ensure that every voter in Edo State exercises his voting right on this day of election without fear or molestation. The third one is on attack by Edo State Security Corps. The person who asked this question stated that this group were banned or suspended when they shot somebody at the airport, and even during their suspension, they have carried out several attacks. I disagree with you because I'm not aware that the Edo State Security Corps was suspended before those attacks. I'm aware that it was after the attacks, and after a series of complaints have been received in the Office of the Inspector General of Police, that I instructed the city to engage the governor and ensure that the activities of the group is suspended. And this was just a week ago. That was before all those attacks you mentioned. Concern raised about the activities of non-state actors in the state. There have been attacks on individuals and all of that, violence going on in the state and all of that. I want to assure you that that is going to change, because with effect from today, we are deploying massively into Edo State, and all these violent attacks you have been having in Edo State, you are going to see a change from now on. Then there is this one about, we want to know the measures that are going to be taken to sanction any police officers or security officers who compromise on professionalism during the election. Yes, I made a pledge of our commitment to ensuring that our officers behave responsibly and discharge their duties professionally during this election. I didn't just make that pledge. I am working with heads of other security agencies to ensure that all our officers that are going to be deployed are trained to act professionally during this election. And we are going to send senior officers to supervise their conduct during the election. There is this one that was talking about what has been done with respect to the shooting incident at the airport. The person who asked the question wanted to know if we have made any arrest with respect to that incident and what has happened to them. And that if this can happen, what is the guarantee that the election will not be marred with violence? I want to tell you that a number of arrests have been made with respect to that incident. It was not just a shooting incident. A policeman was actually killed in that incident. We will not watch while people kill our policemen. We have arrested a number of suspects. A number of weapons have been recovered from them. And they will be charged to court in due course. Use of federal power and presence of military personnel at the polling units. I don't understand what you mean by federal power, but if we are actually talking about federal power, there will be federal power to ensure that the election is held peacefully. Presence of military men at polling units. Military men will not be deployed to polling units. But military men will be involved in the conduct of this, in the security of this election. And their roles will be limited to securing the exits and entry points into Edo State and helping us to ensure strict enforcement of the order of restriction on movement of persons and vehicles. Edo has been peaceful until 18 July, when the shooting incident took place at the airport. Yeah, I think that this is from the chairman of PDP in the state. You accused the IG of being a partisan IG for making arrests in connection with the killing of a policeman at the airport. If that makes me partisan, if you hold the opinion that the IG is partisan for going after the killers of a policeman, I think you will remain with that opinion forever. We are not out to arrest members of any political party. This is not the first state the police will be involved in an election under my leadership as the Inspector General of Police. We supported INEC in conducting election in Bayelsa, governorship election. We supported INEC in conducting election in Imo and Kogi State. But this is the first time someone accused the IGP of being partisan for going after the killers of the policeman. Then you also stated that the military arrested an individual and recovered thousands of PVCs in his house, and the IGP is covering that person, covering it up and protecting the person. I want to let you know that this issue you raised, I am not aware of it. The Commissioner of Police is seated here. He didn't report any such incident to me that it happened in Edo State. It was when you raised it that I asked him on the high table if that ever happened in Edo State. And he told me that, yes, something like that happened, but it was a very trivial issue, that 63 voters' cards were found with the individual, with the two individuals that were arrested, and that the two individuals even belong to different political parties. He said he told me that just now that the two individuals have been released on bail, and I have instructed him immediately to send the case file to INEC for prosecution of those suspects. Yes, my friend from the CSO wants an explanation on the statement I made that orderlies and VIPs, guards of VIPs will be withdrawn on the eve of the election, but an alternative security arrangement will be made for them. We will not leave our VIPs so vulnerable. I said we'll make alternative arrangements for them because as at the eve of this election, the security forces will have been dominating the entire state. People look for individual security when general security is not adequate. But in the case of this, by the eve of election, the whole state will have been dominated by security. There will be enough security in the state that even the VIPs will no longer need personal security. But that does not mean that we will leave them vulnerable and open to attacks by hoodlums. That's not going to happen. We will still protect them. The arrest of persons and whisking them away to Abuja. If anybody is arrested and whisked away to Abuja, please find out what that person has done. Don't say because the person belongs to your political party, then the police is witch-hunting your party. It is wrong. We have to be very careful with the way we spread information. We should not allow misinformation and spread of deliberate falsehood to mar the process in the state. Arrest made for electoral violence. The person who asked this question wants an update on the arrests that have been made on electoral violence in the state. I immediately asked the Commissioner of Police in the state if the command has made any arrest concerning electoral violence in the state, and he told me no. No person has been arrested for electoral violence till this date in Edo State. Maybe those people you think are arrested for electoral violence may have been arrested for other criminal offenses. Then the last one is on the viral video of a man seen in police uniform speaking against the governor and campaigning for a particular political party. You want to know if the man is speaking for the police or speaking for himself? I think the answer to this question is obvious. I have just spoken for the Nigerian police here. Any person seen in police uniform speaking elsewhere cannot be speaking for the police, or will be speaking for himself and himself alone. I saw the viral video, and I would like to make this clarification. The man that appeared to be in police uniform is not a policeman. He may be wearing a uniform that looks like a police uniform, but I looked at that uniform very well, and I found out that that uniform is the uniform of our supernumerary police. The supernumerary police uniform is different from the uniform of the regular policemen. If you look at that video very well, you will see that that is not the uniform of the regular police. Let me explain this further. Training by the police to perform security duties in their different establishments. The police does not have total control of what they do. They are at liberty to belong to any political party they want. Of course, no policeman in Nigeria belongs to any political party. But these supernumerary policemen, because they are not regular policemen, they still have the freedom to belong to any political party they want. And as I speak here today, I can affirm that they belong to different political parties in Nigeria. For that man to have done the uniform of the spy police and appear at a campaign rally, I have instructed the Commissioner of Police to arrest him and investigate why he has to do that. So, please let it be known to everyone that that person is not a policeman.
The Inspector General of Police, Edo Egbetokun, come also yarn the stakeholder said the Edo State Security Corps don't they suspended and remain suspended till further notice.
I want to emphasize that the management of election security solely the responsibility of the Nigerian Police Force and other national security agencies within the ICES. This responsibility does not extend to quasi-security entities or non-state actors. I hereby direct all local security apparatus within Edo State to refrain from interfering with election security functions. Any individual or group engaging in unauthorized security activities will face immediate arrest and prosecution. In this regard, the activities of Edo State Security Corps, which has been suspended, remains suspended until further notice.
The stakeholders meeting are part of INEC effort to engage stakeholders and to ensure that the governorship election for Edo State go smooth and peaceful. Make una not forget say, as we see am, na so we dey talk am. We no dey take blame. From Benin City, Ekata Ojisele, TMC TV News.